Morning. I don't normally do an introduction when I'm running two locos like this, but for the class 40 I'm going to make an exception. The first one, the green locomotive, is an analogue locomotive that came out of a set, Bachmann 30090, which came with Sir Walter Scott. It was a 15th anniversary set and it didn't have cab lights, so I had to put them in. Had a drive but it didn't have cab lights, I had to put them in. But the point to make is, in this livery, locomotive D326 was the one involved in the Great Train Robbery in 1963. It finished its career as 40126 before being scrapped in around 1983. The National Railway Museum was offered D326, but they turned it down. Now, how narrow-minded is that? Infamy sells tickets. But anyway, they turned it down. However, there is one of the carriages that were robbed in the Great Train Robbery at the Severn Valley Railway that you can see, which is laid out like a parcels van. So that's interesting. The other locomotive is Bachmann, and it's 32486 Foxtrot. It's a digital locomotive, running number 40142, cab lights, driving lights, warning lights, and is absolutely superb. Now, what I'm also going to do with this run round is have them go through the infamous radius 2 curve points test, for the simple reason that you have people on social media say that the class 40s you cannot run on the track and you have problems with them. Well, if I can suggest the problems on the locomotives, it's people's tracks. They've got big long chassis 8-wheel bogies, and if your track isn't level they will come off. Anyway, I hope you enjoy seeing them running around, and thank you for watching. Thank you. What I'm going to run round is the analogue locomotive, simply because it's going to run on the outer track, so we'll get this over and done with. All insular frog points. You can see I'm running it nice and slowly. Pretty uneventful, as you would expect. And here we go, creeping out. Analogue locomotive. A little bit too slow. That's because the bend's so tight, just not quite enough power to push it through. But you could see, simple. I'll do it again. What you do find when you're running locomotives that have massive bogies on tight pieces of track, it becomes so tight that they can stop, because you're not putting enough power through the wheels to drive it through the tightness of the bend. That's basically what happened there. And this is tight, don't get me wrong, but all radius 2s, but the point I'm making is that these will run absolutely fine on tight track. There you go. I mean, that's a slow speed, and you can see simples. Really good locomotive, and bear in mind it's an old Bachmann model. It's not a new model, it's an old one. So, thank you. Okay, now we're going to run the class 40. There you go, let's get it to stop and change direction. We're going to run this class 40. Okay, we're now going to run the class 40 digital locomotive around these dreaded insel frog points. This is speed step 9 of 128. I've put the flange squeal on, and remember, according to some experts, digital locomotives, you can't run over insel frog points. According to some experts, the class 40s will not go round tight track, they derail. Okay, here we go. One digital locomotive is going into a radius 2 curve point now. Now, this should not stop because of a lack of power driving the motor because the wheels are tight, but it's got 18 volts going through it. So there's a lot more power going through it. So this should be able to go around a lot better and push its way through. Another radius 2 curve point on the radius 2. Another radius 2. Let's have a horn. I've just applied the brake there. Did you hear that? Just slowing it down a bit before it gets to the buffers, and I'm doing that manually. And here we go, going back the other way. Now here's speed step. This is 5, well, I put it down to 5. And the maximum speed is 128, and this is 5. Radius 2 curved insel frog points. We'll be here all day. I put it up to 10, it's just too, I put it up to 11. Radius 2 curve point going through the radius 2, and you'll notice this didn't stick at slow speeds. It wasn't because there was anything wrong with the analogue locomotive, but when track's really tight you've just got to give it a bit more power to get through, whereas with digital, because you've got 18 volts, and you can see it didn't murmur, it didn't crunch. So look, if anybody says to you that the class 40s are difficult runners, well, there you go. And anybody says to you you can't run digital locomotives over insel frog points, well, you've seen with your own eyes. And I'll put the brakes on and stop it. Thank you. I do like the class 40, or the Pizzas I believe they were called. Such a long, elegant locomotive. But as I say with these, you've got to have track that is flat. Both on the parallel plane and the horizontal plane. Otherwise you will have a world of pain with these locomotives. But I really do think they are a lovely looking diesel locomotive. In fact, we saw one going down the Licky incline. I can't remember what it was called, but when they're polished and shiny, they really are an elegant piece of kit. One of my favourite panoramas. I've got them running a little bit faster. Primarily so we're not here all day. I think also the moral is not to be put off by these older locomotives. I'm going to sign the horn as it's coming up to the road. Mark 1 carriages, mixture of Hornby and Bachmann. One of my favourite views of the model railway. Here we are looking at our version of the Licky incline. And through she comes. Now there's some people say, what do you need cab lights for? Well, at a station, but what they also do is to give the effect of sunlight going into the cab, where you can see the driver on real railways. So what I've done this time is I've given the 40 a bit of pace. Or a digital one. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing our Class 40s going around our track. As I've said, your track's got to be right for these. If your track is buckled or not dead straight, especially on tight bends, you will lose the front bogies. They will come off. I know because I've had a couple of friends bring these round saying then like there's something wrong with their loco, and we've stuck it on my track and it's run like mine. And sadly, a lot of locomotive running problems are down to the quality of people's track laying. And what you have to remember is 1mm is 3 inches in the real world. So if your track has got a 2mm differential from the start of the curve to the finish, that's like 6 inches in the real world. So you imagine how well they would derail in real life. They just wouldn't run correctly. As I say, thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing these run. I do, but I like these. I like them all. But they're just so long and elegant and sleek with their massive bogies, or driving chassis, whatever you want to call it.